Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
I'm Erica.
And today we have a great intermediate lesson for you.
That's right. We've got some excellent real English for you all about cleaning the house.
Cleaning the house, that's a real life situation, so we're going to give you real English.
Exactly. So in today's lesson, we're going to look at language about cleaning the house. We're also going to learn a few phrases that you can use if you want to ask someone for help. And maybe if you're a little bit lazy like me, a phrase or two to avoid doing work. Okay, well, let's get started then with our vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
All right, great. We have two great words for you today. Erica, why don't you tell us the first one?
The first word is such a mess.
Such a mess.
Such a mess.
So when something is a mess...
It's dirty.
Yeah, or things are everywhere.
Disorganized.
Yeah, so, you have your clothes on the floor and your shoes on...
Okay, so that sounds a lot like my desk at work.
Your shoes on your desk. Yeah, I've seen that. I've been wanting to ask you about that.
Okay, such a mess. Really, really dirty.
Okay, now let's take a look at our second word, chores.
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 Chores is a really common word for...
things you have to do around the house.
Like, for example, laundry.
Or making the bed.
Or when you have to take out the garbage.
Those are all examples of chores.
Chores, yeah. I guess everyone can remember when they were kids, they had chores to do.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was my chore to chop wood.
Chop wood?
Yeah.
That's a great chore. Playing with an axe.
Maybe if you're a boy, but for a girl, it was not so great.
That's why you're so strong and fit. All right, so let's listen to our dialogue for the first time. It's going to be kind of fast.
But don't worry if you miss something, because we'll explain all of the important language afterwards.
Honey, the house is such a mess. I need you to help me tidy up a bit. My boss and her husband are coming over for dinner and the house needs to be spotless.
I'm in the middle of something right now. I'll be there in a second.
This can't wait. I need your help now.
All right. I'm coming.
Okay, here's a list of chores we need to get done. I'll do the dishes and get all the groceries for tonight. You can sweep and mop the floors. Oh, and the furniture needs to be dusted.
You know what? I have to pick something up in the mall, so why don't you clean the floors and I'll go to the supermarket and get all the groceries.
Sure, that's fine. Here's the list of all the things you need to get. Don't forget anything. And can you pick up a bottle of wine on your way home?
Hey, honey, I'm back. Wow, the house looks really good.
Great. Can you set the table?
Just a sec. I'm just gonna vacuum this rug real fast.
Wait, don't turn it on!
So my God, Marco, what happened there?
An explosion.
We love a good explosion here at English Pod.
We're going to give you as many explosions as possible.
Okay.
Right. So let's take a look at our language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
So language takeaway is the part of our lesson where we teach you what we think are some really important words that are found in the dialogue.
Exactly, and we have 3 really important words in our dialogue today. So let's start with the first one.
Tidy up.
Tidy up.
Tidy up.
So to tidy up means to...
put things in their correct spot.
Right, so put the shoes on the floor.
Get those shoes off my desk.
Exactly, so tidy up, organize things a little bit.
Yeah, put things away.
Okay, let's take a look at our second word now. Spotless.
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 So when you want something to be spotless...
you want it to be really clean.
Really clean, not a spot of dirt on it.
Like your desk.
Exactly, my desk is spotless.
My desk is not spotless.
All right, great word. Now let's take a look at our last word for language takeaway. Mall.
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 M-A-L-L, mall.
Mall, yeah. It's a strange sounding word.
It is a little bit funny sounding, but it basically means a large building with many shops inside, many different stores inside.
Right. Now, in British English, you would say shopping center.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit more common, but in American English, we say mall.
Great. So now it's time in our show to look at putting it together.
Putting it together.
Okay, so in putting it together, we take a word from the dialogue and we show you how to use this word in real English. So we give you a couple of examples of how this particular word can be used.
Exactly. So the word that we have for today is groceries.
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 Erica, why don't you tell us what groceries are all about?
So groceries are all of the food items that you need to buy at the supermarket. So like your bread and milk and meat and...
Vegetables.
Exactly. Those are all
stuff.
groceries.
Okay, so let's listen to some examples on how we use this phrase.
Example 1.
There's no milk. Can you go to the grocery store?
Example 2.
Here's the grocery list. I need all of these things so that I can cook dinner tonight. Don't forget anything.
Example 3.
I hate grocery shopping. I can never find what I'm looking for.
Okay, great examples. We heard some really interesting combinations, right?
Yeah, we heard grocery store.
Which is where you buy your groceries.
Exactly. Grocery shopping.
Buying all your groceries.
And grocery list.
Where you have all the items that you need to buy.
A list of everything you need to buy.
Exactly.
You know, grocery store. I think this is quite a common word in Canada.
Probably North America.
Yeah. Do you say grocery store in America?
Well, if it's a small one.
Really? So
Like a small store.
in Canada, I say grocery store for even like a supermarket.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess, well, I would say supermarket for a large one and grocery store for a little corner shop.
All of these little differences in American Canadian English. Okay, I think it's time for us to listen to our dialogue another time. This time it'll be a little bit slower.
Welcome to WorldPod English Video. Today's story is called The Clean Home Secret. It's about how one simple change in daily life can make your world brighter, your mind calmer, and your English stronger. When I was younger, I always thought cleaning the house was a boring job. I believed it was just about washing dishes, sweeping the floor, or putting things in order. But one morning, something changed. I realized cleaning is not just about having a tidy room. It's about creating peace in your mind. That day, I learned one of the biggest life lessons. When your surroundings are clean, your thoughts become clean too. I remember waking up to a room full of clothes on the chair, books on the bed, and an empty cup of tea on the desk. The air felt heavy. I couldn't focus on my work or even think clearly. Then I said to myself, enough. Today, I'll make my home a place I love. I started with small steps. I made my bed, folded my clothes, and opened the window. Suddenly, fresh air came in, and I felt lighter. That simple action gave me energy. As I picked up things, I spoke English words to myself. I'm dusting the table. I'm folding my clothes. I'm organizing my books. Each small task became a mini English lesson. It was fun and useful. I realized I was learning verbs, expressions, and daily phrases without studying grammar books. Cleaning became my English classroom. I learned that tidy up means to make things neat and organized. Chores are the small jobs we do at home. Spotless means completely clean, so clean that you can see your reflection on the floor. I started saying these words aloud while cleaning, and slowly they became part of my natural English. While wiping the mirror, I looked at myself and thought, you don't just clean your room, you clean your life. When you remove the dust from your table, you remove the dust from your mind, too. You begin to see what really matters. That day, I felt a deep peace inside me. I put on some light music and continued cleaning. The smell of soap and freshness filled the air. I noticed how my mood changed. I felt proud. My house wasn't perfect, but it was full of effort and love. Cleaning also teaches you time management. You start learning how to do small things regularly so that they don't become big problems later. Just like in English learning, if you practice a little every day, you don't need to study for hours at once. Consistency makes progress. So now when I talk to my students or friends who feel lazy to clean or study, I tell them, start with one corner of your room or one new English word. Just begin. Because the magic is not in finishing, it's in starting. And here's a secret. A clean home gives you confidence. When someone visits you, you don't hide your mess, you open your door proudly. In the same way, when you learn English step by step, you start speaking confidently without fear of mistakes. So, dear listener, maybe today you can look around your room. Is there something you can clean, fold, or fix? While doing it, say the words in English. Turn every cleaning moment into a learning moment. You'll see, your English and your life will both shine. The next morning, I woke up before the alarm. Sunlight was coming through the window, and the air felt fresh. My room was clean from yesterday, and it gave me such a peaceful feeling. I realized something powerful. When your room is clean, your morning feels lighter, and your mind is ready for new ideas. I smiled and thought, this is how a new life starts, one small action at a time. I went to the kitchen and looked around. The table was full of cups, plates, and a few crumbs from last night's dinner. I took a deep breath and said to myself, okay, let's make this place shine. As I washed the dishes, I whispered the words, wash the dishes, dry the plates, put the cups away. I was not only cleaning, I was practicing English. Every action had a word, every word had meaning, and every meaning gave me progress. Then I started thinking about the word routine. We often say, I have a cleaning routine, or I have a morning routine. A routine is something you do every day. Having one makes your life smoother. I thought, what if I make a cleaning routine that also improves my English? So I did. Every day, I would clean one part of the house and repeat English phrases that matched it. When I was mopping the floor, I said, I'm mopping the floor carefully. When I was organizing books, I said, I'm arranging my books by color and size. Slowly, my English became stronger, and my pronunciation clearer. I wasn't studying in the traditional way, but I was learning through real life. Cleaning also taught me gratitude. As I wiped the kitchen counter, I realized how lucky I was to have a home, water, and food. Many people don't have these things. I said softly, thank you for this place, for this moment. And I understood cleaning is not a punishment. It's a way to show respect to the life we have. I opened the refrigerator to check the food. There were vegetables, milk, and some leftovers from last night's dinner. I decided to clean it too. While removing things, I learned a few new English phrases, like throw away, wipe down, and check the expiration date. Each phrase made me feel more fluent. Learning while cleaning was turning my daily life into an English lesson filled with positive energy. When I finished, I sat down with a cup of tea and looked around. Everything looked calm, bright, and simple. I realized that cleaning is like meditation. You move your hands, but your heart becomes still. You stop worrying about the past or future. You just focus on the now. And you know what? When you live in a clean space, you speak more clearly, think more clearly, and even feel more confident about learning English. Your environment shapes your energy. So I made a promise to myself that day. Every morning, before I start work, I will spend 15 minutes cleaning something small, my desk, my chair, or even my computer keyboard, because every small cleaned corner adds peace to my day and power to my English. If you want to start this journey too, pick one small thing around you, maybe your bag, maybe your bed, or maybe your desk. Clean it slowly, use English words while you do it, and see how much lighter you feel inside.
That evening, after finishing my work, I decided to clean the living room. It was the place where I spent most of my time, watching movies, reading books, or talking with friends online. But lately, I hadn't noticed how messy it had become. Books everywhere, shoes under the table, and a thin layer of dust on the TV stand. I smiled and said softly, "Okay, it's time to bring back the sparkle." I started with the sofa. I lifted the cushions and found some coins, a pen, and even an old piece of paper with my handwriting on it. It said, "Believe in small beginnings." I laughed. It was a note I had written to myself months ago when I was feeling down. Finding it again was like getting a message from my past self, a reminder that even cleaning can uncover forgotten parts of life. As I dusted the furniture, I spoke English sentences to myself. I'm dusting the shelves. I'm cleaning the coffee table. I'm wiping the glass. The repetition felt powerful. It helped me practice pronunciation and rhythm. I realized that when you speak while you move, your memory works better. You remember words faster because your body helps your mind. I also thought about the phrase, "make yourself at home." We use it when we want someone to feel comfortable in our house, but it also has a deeper meaning. When your home is clean and peaceful, you truly feel at home with yourself. That's a beautiful feeling, isn't it? While cleaning the shelves, I found an old family photo. We were all smiling in the garden, and I could almost hear the laughter. I sat for a minute, holding the frame, and thought about how cleaning connects us to our memories. Dust may cover our things, but it never covers the love inside them. I carefully wiped the photo and said, "Memories deserve to shine too." Then I vacuumed the carpet. The sound was loud, but it was also comforting, like music that tells you something is getting better. I used to think vacuuming was tiring, but now it felt like a rhythm. I repeated, "I'm vacuuming the carpet. I'm making it spotless." The more I said it, the more confident I felt. While cleaning, I learned another English expression, spring cleaning. It means a big, deep cleaning that people often do in spring to welcome freshness into their homes. But I thought, why only spring? Every day can be a fresh start. After I finished, I sat on the sofa again. The air felt cleaner, and the room looked new. I could smell the freshness of lemon from the cleaner I used. I thought, if I can make my house feel new, I can make my life feel new too. I picked up my notebook and wrote a few useful English phrases that I had used that day. Tidy up the room, dust the shelves, vacuum the carpet, wipe the glass, make the room spotless. Writing them down helped me remember better. It was like creating my own English dictionary of daily life. As I looked around, I felt proud. The room didn't just look clean, it felt alive. And so did I. Cleaning had become more than a job. It was a conversation between my hands, my heart, and my English. The next day, I decided to focus on my bedroom. Bedrooms are special. They're not just for sleeping. They're the place where dreams start. A messy bedroom can make your thoughts heavy, but a clean one can fill your heart with calm. I looked around and smiled gently. Clothes were hanging on the chair, a few socks were hiding under the bed, and a thin layer of dust on the TV stand. I whispered, "Let's bring some peace here." I opened the curtains first. Sunlight flooded the room, warm and golden. Dust floated in the light like tiny stars. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm opening the curtains. I'm letting the sun shine in." That phrase felt magical. I realized that in English, simple actions can sound poetic when you say them with feeling. Then I began with the bed. I folded the blanket neatly and placed the pillows perfectly.
I said out loud, "I'm making the bed." It's such a common phrase, but it means more than arranging sheets. It means preparing yourself for rest and peace. When I made the bed, it was as if I was also making space in my mind for clarity and comfort. Next, I started organizing my clothes. I learned a few phrases like hang up the shirt, fold the clothes, and put them away. I repeated each one as I worked. It was interesting. Each sentence had movement, rhythm, and energy. Speaking while cleaning made me feel active and alive. As I worked, I noticed my old English notebooks on the desk. Some pages were full of notes, others had just one word written. Words like hope, courage, and patience. I smiled and thought, these words are like dusted treasures. I need to clean them too. I took a cloth and gently wiped the table. As I cleaned, I practiced new English expressions. Wipe off the dust, clear the desk, organize the books. Then I found a small plant that had been sitting by the window. Its leaves were a little dry. I poured some water and whispered, "You need care too, little one." That moment reminded me that our environment reflects how we care about ourselves. A clean room means self-respect. I sat for a while and looked around. The room felt completely different. Fresh air, sunlight, order, and silence. I could hear birds outside, and everything seemed in harmony. I felt proud. I thought to myself, this is what peace looks like. Cleaning my bedroom also helped me think about another phrase, fresh start. We use it when we begin something new, like a new habit, a new day, or even a new dream. Cleaning your room can be your fresh start. You remove the old energy and make space for new possibilities. So I took my notebook again and wrote, make the bed, hang up the clothes, put away the laundry, wipe off the dust, give yourself a fresh start. Every phrase was a life lesson and an English lesson at the same time. I didn't just learn words, I felt them. That night, I lay down on my clean bed. The room smelled like lavender and peace. I closed my eyes and said quietly, "Thank you, my room. You are my safe space." And I realized something. When you take care of your home takes care of you. On Sunday morning, I woke up feeling calm and full of energy. The weather was perfect. Bright sunlight, a soft breeze, and the sound of birds outside. I decided it was the right time to clean the balcony. I had ignored it for months, and it looked dusty and lonely. I smiled and said, "Let's make this place happy again." When I stepped outside, I saw dried leaves, flower pots full of old soil, and a small table covered with dust. But instead of feeling tired, I felt excited. Cleaning the balcony meant breathing new air, both inside and outside my heart. I whispered, "I'm sweeping the balcony. I'm cleaning the table. I'm watering the plants." Every sentence felt alive. While sweeping, I thought about how many people forget small corners of their homes. We clean our rooms, our kitchens, but sometimes we forget the spaces that connect us to nature. The balcony is like a bridge between you and the sky. When it's clean, you feel free. I took a wet cloth and started wiping the railings. The air smelled of morning freshness. I said aloud, "I'm wiping the railings. I'm removing the dust." I realized that cleaning words in English are full of movement. They make your body and your tongue work together. Wipe, scrub, wash, sweep, rinse. These action verbs are simple but powerful. As I worked, I noticed one small flower growing in a broken pot. It looked weak, but it was still alive. That little flower taught me something important. No matter how small or broken something looks, it can still grow if it gets care and light. Just like our English learning, maybe we start small, but if we care for it every day, it grows beautifully. After cleaning the floor, I rearranged the pots and said, "I'm arranging the plants in a line." Then I added, "I'm creating a cozy space." These were new phrases for me. I kept repeating them slowly, focusing on pronunciation. The balcony started to look beautiful, a small garden full of hope. Then I made myself a cup of tea and sat outside. The air was fresh and the sunlight felt warm on my face. I looked around and thought, clean spaces bring clean thoughts. I remembered a useful English saying, a clean place is a happy place. It's simple, but true. While sipping tea, I wrote down some phrases in my notebook. Sweep the balcony. Wipe the railings. Water the plants. Arrange the pots. Create a cozy space. Each of these small sentences carried energy and purpose. They weren't just words, they were steps toward confidence and fluency. As I sat there, I imagined teaching this to someone. Don't study English only with books. Study with life. When you wash dishes, speak English. When you clean your balcony, think in English. That's how you make learning natural. I looked up at the sky and felt peaceful. Cleaning wasn't just about removing dust, it was about discovering beauty, patience, and gratitude. I thought, every space deserves love, even the smallest one. When I finished my tea, I smiled and whispered, this balcony is my little world now. And maybe that's all we need. A small, clean corner that reminds us of peace, progress, and purpose. That afternoon, I decided to clean the kitchen. The kitchen, I believe, is the heart of every home. It's where warmth lives, where we cook, laugh, and sometimes even talk to ourselves while stirring soup. But lately, mine looked tired. Crumbs on the counter, dishes in the sink, and spice jars scattered everywhere. I smiled and said, let's bring some life back to this place. I started by opening the windows. The sunlight entered like a guest, bringing freshness with it. I said softly, I'm opening the windows to let the air in. It felt refreshing both for my lungs and my thoughts. The first thing I did was wash the dishes. As I cleaned each one, I repeated, wash the dishes, rinse the plates, dry the cups, put them away. These simple English phrases became like music, steady and calming. Then I focused on the counter. I wiped it slowly, thinking about the word wipe. It's a common but useful verb. Wipe the counter, wipe the table, wipe your hands. Such simple actions, yet so full of meaning. As I moved my hands, I realized cleaning teaches rhythm, just like speaking English. Both need patience and flow. Next, I organized the shelves. I put the jars in order: salt, sugar, rice, tea. I said to myself, I'm arranging the jars. I'm organizing the shelf. And while doing this, a thought came to me. Cleaning is a lot like learning English. At first, everything feels messy. You don't know where words belong, how sentences work, or how to say things correctly. But the more you organize your learning, the easier it becomes to find what you need. As I continued, I found an old spice jar labeled Hope. It wasn't real spice. It was a little glass jar that I had once used to collect quotes that inspired me. I opened it and read a quote, "Small actions done with love bring big change." That message touched me deeply. I realized that cleaning my kitchen wasn't just a task. It was a reminder to do every small thing with heart. When I started cleaning the fridge, I learned new English expressions. Throw away the expired food. Wipe down the shelves. Check the expiration date. Keep it fresh. I repeated them while I worked, and they stuck easily in my mind because I was using them in real life. That's the best way to remember English, by living it. After an hour, the kitchen looked new again. Everything smelled clean, like lemon and soap. I looked around and smiled proudly. I said, "The kitchen is spotless. Everything is in its place." Then I made myself a small meal, an omelet with tea. As I ate, I thought about how a clean kitchen gives you more motivation to cook and eat healthy food. It's the same with learning. When your study space is organized, your brain feels ready to learn. I wrote down new words from the day. Counter, sink, shelf, jar, fridge, spotless. I practiced saying them slowly, focusing on the pronunciation. Cleaning had turned into a language classroom again. Before leaving the kitchen, I whispered, "Thank you for the lessons, my little classroom of life." I turned off the light and smiled. The kitchen looked peaceful, just like my heart.
The next morning, I woke up early and decided to clean the bathroom. It might not sound exciting, but I knew it was important. The bathroom is where we start and end our day, is where we prepare to face the world, and where we wash away our tiredness. I looked at the mirror, the sink, and the tiles, and thought, this place deserves love too. I turned on the light and said, all right, time to make this bathroom shine. I started with the mirror. It had small water spots on it. I sprayed the cleaner and said aloud, I'm cleaning the mirror. I'm wiping the glass. As the reflection became clear, I smiled at myself. It felt symbolic. When you clean your mirror, you also clear the way you see yourself. Next, I washed the sink. I said, I'm scrubbing the sink. I'm rinsing it with water. I realized that scrub is a useful English word. It means to clean something by rubbing it hard, usually with a brush or sponge. I repeated it a few times. Scrub the floor, scrub the wall, scrub the sink. Saying it out loud helped me remember it. As I cleaned, I thought about how language is like cleaning. You remove the dirt of confusion by repeating and practicing. Every time you use a new word, you make your English clearer. Then I began cleaning the tiles. I used another useful phrase, wipe off the stains. Stain means a dirty mark that doesn't go away easily. I kept repeating these words as I worked. Wipe, rinse, scrub, clean. These 4 simple verbs became my cleaning mantra. After that, I organized the things around the sink. Soap, shampoo, toothbrush, toothpaste, towels. I said softly, I'm putting everything in order. I'm organizing the bathroom. The word organize is one of my favorites. It doesn't only mean to arrange things neatly, it also means to bring calm to your mind. While cleaning the shower, I thought about a funny truth. When you clean the bathroom, you don't just clean, it's also a workout. My arms were moving, my back was stretching, and I was sweating a bit. I laughed and said, I'm cleaning and exercising at the same time. Finally, I cleaned the floor. I used a mop and said aloud, I'm mopping the floor. I'm making it spotless. When I finished, I stood in the doorway and admired my work. Everything was shining, the tiles, the mirror, the sink. I said proudly, the bathroom looks fresh and new. I learned a few new phrases that day. Scrub the sink, wipe off the stains, rinse with water, mop the floor, make it spotless. I wrote them in my notebook and practiced saying them slowly. Cleaning words are simple but powerful. They describe action, focus, and care. Before leaving the bathroom, I looked at the mirror one more time. My reflection was clear and smiling back at me. I whispered, when your surroundings shine, your confidence shines too. That day, I didn't just clean a room. I cleaned a part of my mind that needed clarity. Later that day, I decided to clean something I had completely forgotten for weeks, my workspace. It's the place where I read, write, study, and plan new things. But recently, it had turned into a small mountain of papers, pens, notebooks, and coffee cups. I looked at the desk and laughed softly. If this desk could talk, it would probably say, help me. I took a deep breath and started slowly. First, I removed everything from the table. I said aloud, I'm clearing the desk. Then, I'm sorting the papers. The word sort means to separate things into groups so that they become easier to find. I repeated it a few times. Sort the files, sort the clothes, sort the papers. Simple, but useful. As I organized the desk, I realized how much the state of our workspace affects our thoughts.
A messy desk can make your ideas confused, but a clean one brings focus. It's the same with language. When your learning materials are organized, your English flows better. I found some old sticky notes with words like focus, dream, and never give up. Those small notes felt like messages from my past self, cheering me on. I smiled and whispered, "I'm listening, my old friend." Cleaning was slowly turning into a moment of reflection. Next, I wiped the desk and the keyboard carefully. I said, "I'm wiping the desk. I'm cleaning the keyboard." I realized keyboards collect a lot of dust, so I used a soft brush. While doing that, I learned new phrases. Brush away the dust, wipe the surface, keep it neat and clean. Then I started organizing my notebooks. I placed the English ones together and thought about the word neat. It means tidy and well arranged. I said aloud, "My desk is neat. My notes are neat. My handwriting is neat." These small affirmations made me feel positive and focused. As I continued, I noticed something else. When you clean in silence, your mind starts speaking to you. I thought about how often people say they want to change their lives, but they forget to start with small actions. Cleaning your desk is one of those small, powerful actions that open the door to new motivation. When I finished, I placed my favorite notebook in the center and wrote a new goal on the first page. Learn 5 new English words every day. I smiled because this clean space made me want to learn more. I added one more phrase to my learning list. Get things done. It's an everyday English phrase that means to finish your work successfully. I repeated it a few times. It's time to get things done. It felt strong and encouraging. I looked around the room. The sunlight was falling gently on the clean desk. My pens were in a cup, and my books were standing tall. I felt ready for anything. A clean desk is not just about order. It's about creating energy for ideas. The next morning, I woke up feeling calm, proud, and inspired. My home was cleaner than ever. The air smelled fresh, and everything seemed brighter. But then I noticed something I hadn't cleaned yet: the wardrobe. It looked innocent from the outside, but when I opened it, clothes almost fell out. I laughed and said, "Oh no, I've met my biggest challenge." I stood there for a moment, staring at the mountain of clothes. Then I said out loud, "All right, it's time to clean the wardrobe." I started by pulling everything out. I learned a new expression while doing that. Take everything out. It means to remove all items from a place. I said it several times. Take everything out of the wardrobe. Take everything out of the drawer. Soon, my bed was covered with shirts, pants, scarves, and even clothes I had forgotten I owned. I smiled and said, "It's like meeting old friends again." Cleaning the wardrobe was not just about clothes, it was a journey through memories. Some clothes reminded me of happy days, others of moments when I struggled but grew stronger. Then I made 3 piles: keep, donate, and throw away. These 3 phrases are perfect for daily English. I said them again slowly. Keep the ones I love. Donate the ones I don't wear. Throw away the ones that are old. It felt good to say those words. They didn't just clean my wardrobe, they also cleaned my emotions. Letting go of things you no longer need is a kind of freedom. Next, I started folding the clothes. I said aloud, fold the shirts, fold the pants, hang up the jackets. The phrase hang up means to put clothes on a hanger so they stay neat. I practiced it again. Hang up your coat, hang up your dress, hang up your jacket. While arranging, I thought about how much English learning is like organizing clothes. You collect words, phrases, and grammar, but if you don't organize them, you forget where they are. Just like a messy wardrobe, a messy mind can make you lose what you've learned. So I promised myself to keep my English knowledge as tidy as my wardrobe. As I placed the last folded shirt inside, I smelled the fresh scent of clean fabric. I said proudly, "Everything is neat and tidy." Then I wrote down the new words in my notebook. Wardrobe, fold, hang up, donate, throw away. I added a few phrases too. Take everything out, put everything in order, keep it tidy. Cleaning my wardrobe made me think deeply about the word space. When you create space in your room, you also create space in your heart for new things. Maybe that's why people say, when you let go, better things come. I stood back and looked at my wardrobe. It wasn't just clean, it was peaceful. I could find everything easily. It was organized, fresh, and beautiful. I whispered, "Thank you for teaching me again that little steps create big changes." Before leaving the room, I touched one of my favorite jackets and said softly, "We've been through a lot together." Then I smiled, closed the wardrobe doors, and felt proud. The sound of closing them was like a gentle ending to a small, happy story. The next day, a cool breeze entered my home. The windows were open and the curtains danced softly. The light touched everything gently, and I felt peaceful. But then I looked down at the floor and smiled. Dust again. It's funny how quickly things can get messy. I said quietly, "All right, floor, it's your turn now." I began with sweeping. As I moved the broom slowly, I said, "I'm sweeping the floor. I'm cleaning every corner." I realized that the floor is the most silent part of our home. It carries us every day, yet we forget to thank it. So I spoke softly, "Thank you for holding me every day." It made me feel humble and calm. While sweeping, I remembered a useful phrase, reach every corner. It means to make sure you don't miss any spot. I repeated it, sweep every corner, clean every corner, reach every corner. These words are great for both cleaning and life. In English learning too, we must reach every corner of understanding, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and confidence. Next, I filled a bucket with warm water and added a bit of lemon soap. The smell filled the air and I said aloud, "I'm mopping the floor." The verb mop means to clean the floor with water and a mop stick. I practiced it several times. Mop the floor carefully. Mop around the table. Mop near the door. As I moved the mop in circles, I thought about how life is just like this. Sometimes messy, but always cleanable. You just need patience and small steps. After a while, I noticed how shining the tiles had become. I smiled and said, "The floor is spotless." That word, spotless, has become one of my favorites. It means completely clean without even a small mark. I whispered it again, spotless. It sounded beautiful, like the feeling of a new beginning. Then I learned some new phrases and added them to my notebook. Sweep the dust, mop the floor, reach every corner, keep it spotless, make it shine. Each phrase carried not just meaning, but energy. Cleaning while learning English made me realize how language can live in our daily actions. While I waited for the floor to dry, I sat near the window and watched the sunlight touch the clean surface.
It sparkled like water. I thought about how a clean home gives you motivation and how small habits create big peace. I also learned another interesting English phrase that day: clean slate. It means to start fresh, without any old mistakes. I said to myself, today feels like a clean slate. My home was clean, my heart was light, and my English was growing. When the floor finally dried, I walked barefoot on it. It felt cool, smooth, and relaxing. I whispered, "This is what happiness feels like." I picked up my notebook again and practiced the phrases aloud. Sweep the floor, mop the floor, make it shine, keep it spotless. The rhythm of the words felt like a quiet song, simple, beautiful, and real. Then I looked around and thought, every part of this home has taught me something: patience, focus, kindness, and English. I smiled because I realized that cleaning is not just about rooms, it's about the person you become while doing it.
That afternoon, I sat on the sofa, enjoying the quiet harmony of my home. Every room now felt peaceful. The kitchen was shining, the bedroom smelled fresh, and even the balcony looked like a little paradise. But suddenly, my eyes stopped at one small place that was still full of mystery: the bookshelf. It stood proudly in the corner, filled with books I had collected over many years: English grammar books, novels, notebooks, and a few travel guides. But it was dusty and unorganized. I laughed and said softly, "All right, my old friend, it's your turn to feel fresh again." I started by removing the books one by one, saying aloud, "I'm taking the books off the shelf." As I did, I learned another useful expression. Take off means to remove something from its place. I repeated it with a smile. Take off the books. Take off the dust. When the shelves were empty, I saw how much dust had gathered over time. I grabbed a cloth and said, "I'm wiping the shelf. I'm cleaning the corners." I loved that phrase, "clean the corners," because it reminded me of something deeper. Sometimes we need to clean the hidden corners of our lives too, not just the visible ones. While cleaning, I found one of my old English diaries. Its cover was faded, but when I opened it, I saw pages filled with dreams, mistakes, and lessons. I read one line aloud: "Someday, I'll speak English with confidence." I smiled, because that dream was now real. This diary reminded me how far I had come. Then, I began organizing the books. I said aloud, "I'm arranging the books by size. I'm sorting them by topic." The verbs arrange and sort are wonderful for both cleaning and English. Arrange means to put things in a nice order, and sort means to group similar things together. As I placed the books, I practiced short phrases. Put the book on the top shelf. Line up the books neatly. Make the shelf look tidy. Every time I spoke, I imagined teaching these sentences to someone learning English, and it made me feel happy. I realized that cleaning and teaching both share the same heart. They make things clearer and brighter. After arranging everything, I looked at my bookshelf. It wasn't just clean, it was alive. The colors of the books looked brighter, and the room seemed smarter. I said proudly, "The bookshelf is neat and organized." Then I added new words to my notebook: shelf, arrange, sort, line up, tidy. And a few phrases: clean the corners, wipe the shelf, put things in order. I sat down again and touched one of the books. I realized that every book on that shelf was a part of my journey. Some had taught me language, some had taught me life. Cleaning them felt like saying thank you to my teachers. As the sun set, the room turned golden. I watched the light touch the books and thought about another phrase I loved. Knowledge is power. But that day, I understood something deeper. Clean knowledge is peace. When you organize your thoughts, your mind becomes calm, just like a clean bookshelf. I whispered, "Thank you, my books, for staying with me through every chapter of life." Then I smiled, closed my notebook, and felt grateful for this simple, beautiful moment of learning and peace. The next day, I looked around and thought about one last place that still needed care: my laundry area. It was small, tucked away near the back door, with a washing machine, a few baskets, and some clothes waiting for attention. I laughed softly and said, "All right, my hard-working corner, let's make you shine too." Laundry might seem boring to many people, but I've learned that even ordinary tasks can teach us something meaningful. I began by sorting the clothes into two piles, light and dark. As I did, I said aloud, "I'm sorting the clothes." The word sort means to separate things by type, color, or purpose. It's one of the most useful everyday verbs in English. I practiced it again and again. Sort the papers, sort the clothes, sort the trash. Next, I said, "I'm loading the washing machine." Load is another great word. It means to put something into a machine or vehicle. I smiled and continued speaking as I worked. Load the washer, start the cycle, press the button. These small, simple sentences sounded natural and real. As the machine started spinning, the quiet rhythm of the water felt relaxing. I listened to the sound and thought, this is like life. Sometimes it spins fast, sometimes slow, but it always keeps cleaning itself. I repeated softly, wash, rinse, spin, dry. These 4 short verbs were perfect for English learners. They're real, common, and easy to use. While waiting, I folded the dry clothes from yesterday. I said, "I'm folding the towels. I'm folding the shirts." Folding, I realized, is not just about clothes, it's about care. When you fold something neatly, you show respect for it. I thought about how the same rule applies to our words. When we speak carefully, we show respect for the listener. After that, I picked up a clean white shirt and said, "I'm hanging it up to dry." The phrase hang up is another practical one. It means to put something on a hanger or line so it can dry or stay neat. I practiced it again. Hang up the clothes. Hang up your coat. When the washing machine stopped, I took the clothes out, warm and clean. I smiled and said, "The laundry is done." That simple sentence gave me a feeling of completion, one more small victory in my day. Then I opened my notebook and wrote new words and phrases from today. Wash, rinse, spin, dry, load, fold, hang up. And some short expressions. Do the laundry. Sort the clothes. Start the cycle. Hang them to dry. Each one was small but useful. Words that people use every day, full of life and rhythm. As I looked around, the laundry area smelled like fresh soap and sunshine. The baskets were empty, the clothes were neatly folded, and the space felt calm. I realized how much these small actions had changed me. Cleaning wasn't just a habit anymore. It had become a way to care for my surroundings and for myself. I whispered to the air, every clean thing has a story. Every simple task teaches patience. And then I smiled, thinking how beautiful it is that English can grow naturally in these quiet, ordinary moments. I picked up one folded towel, held it close, and said softly, "Clean, soft, and warm, just like peace."
The morning was quiet, and a soft light filled my home. Everything looked peaceful, yet I noticed one thing still untouched: the windows. They were slightly dusty, and the glass had faint marks from the last rain. I smiled and said, "It's time to let more light in." Windows are special. They connect us to the outside world while keeping us safe inside. I walked toward the first one and whispered, "I'm cleaning the windows." It felt simple but beautiful. As I sprayed the cleaner, I said aloud, "Spray the glass, wipe the window, make it clear." The verbs spray and wipe were easy but powerful. They describe real movement and give learners words they can use every day. I started wiping slowly in circles, watching the marks disappear. I thought about how cleaning a window is like improving your vision. You remove what blocks the view. It reminded me of learning English too. When we practice every day, we remove confusion and begin to see the beauty of clear communication. As I worked, I learned another phrase, "Let the light in." It means not only allowing sunlight to enter, but also letting positivity come into your life. I said softly, "When you clean your windows, you let the light in, both outside and inside." I continued cleaning the rest of the windows one by one. The morning sun reflected on the glass, and my face looked brighter. I said proudly, "The glass is shining. The window is spotless." That word spotless felt so satisfying. It always meant perfection after effort. Then I started dusting the window frames. I said, "I'm dusting the corners, I'm wiping the edges." I noticed how many small details we forget when we clean quickly. Learning English is the same. It's not just about big rules. It's about noticing the small details that make your speaking smooth and natural. After a while, I opened the window and let the cool breeze come in. The air touched my face gently. I whispered, "Fresh air feels like a new beginning." Then I repeated some new phrases. Open the window. Let the fresh air in. Wipe the glass. Clean the frame. Make it shine. Each one was simple, but they all carried real-life meaning. I wrote them in my notebook and smiled, thinking how my list of daily English was growing longer and stronger. While standing there, I watched the world outside. The trees moving softly, a bird flying past, a neighbor watering her garden. Life looked calm and full of small beauty. I said softly, "Clean windows show a cleaner world." Then I remembered a lovely phrase I had once read, "Where there is light, there is hope." I felt it deeply at that moment. A home full of light is a home full of hope, and the same goes for our hearts. After finishing, I stepped back and looked at the windows. They sparkled like mirrors. I could see the sky clearly now, and even my reflection smiling back at me. I whispered, "Thank you, windows, for showing me how clear life can be when we care." Then I added one last note to my notebook: clean glass, clear thoughts. That became my favorite line of the day. That afternoon, I decided to focus on a small but important place: the entrance of my home. It's the first thing people see when they walk in, and I wanted it to feel welcoming. I looked at the shoes, the mat, and a few jackets hanging by the door and said softly, "It's time to make this doorway shine." The entrance may seem simple, but it carries meaning. It's like the first sentence of your home story. When it's clean, it says, "Welcome, you're safe here." I started by picking up the shoes and said aloud, "I'm organizing the shoes. I'm putting them neatly on the rack." The words organize and neatly became my focus. Organize means to put things in a good order, and neatly means cleanly and carefully. I repeated them again and again. Organize the rack neatly. Then I took the broom and swept the floor near the door. I said, "I'm sweeping the entrance. I'm cleaning the doorway."
I loved the phrase doorway. It doesn't just mean the space between two rooms, it also symbolizes opportunity, a beginning. While cleaning, I thought about how every clean entrance invites positive energy and new beginnings into life. After sweeping, I dusted the small table by the door and wiped it with a cloth. I said, I'm wiping the table. I'm removing the dust. I placed a small plant on top to bring a touch of life. Then I whispered, even a little green makes a big difference. As I cleaned, I found one small note pinned on the wall. It said, be kind to everyone who enters. I smiled. It reminded me that a clean entrance isn't only about looks, it's also about energy, kindness, and how you make people feel when they step inside. I hung the jackets properly and practiced another useful phrase. Hang up the coat. I said it several times. Hang up your jacket. Hang up your umbrella. These are simple but common English expressions that learners can use daily. After that, I picked up the doormat, shook off the dust outside, and laid it down again. I said, I'm cleaning the doormat. I'm laying it flat. That phrase, lay it flat, means to put something smoothly on a surface. I liked it. It sounded gentle, almost poetic. When everything was in place, I stepped back and looked around. The entrance looked bright, organized, and peaceful. It smelled faintly of lemon cleaner and fresh air. I said proudly, the entrance is spotless and welcoming. Then I wrote down some new English words and phrases in my notebook. Doorway, entrance, doormat, organize neatly, hang up the coat, lay it flat, welcome home. While writing, I thought about how cleaning is really a reflection of our hearts. A clean entrance says, I'm ready for good things. The same goes for our minds. When we keep them open and positive, we invite learning and happiness. Before finishing, I stood at the door for a moment, feeling the cool air outside. I opened it wide and said softly, Welcome, new day. The words felt warm, like a greeting to life itself. I realized that the entrance of a home is like the start of a new chapter. Each time you clean it, you remind yourself that every day is a new chance to live better, love deeper, and learn something new.
The next morning, I stood in the middle of my living room and smiled. Every corner of my home was clean, fresh, and glowing with peace. Yet there was one thing missing, the decorations. The shelves looked simple, the tables were empty, and the walls felt quiet. I whispered, now it's time to add a little beauty. Decoration isn't just about design, it's about expressing your heart. I looked around and thought, how can I make this room feel warm and alive? I started with a small idea, flowers. I brought a few from the balcony and said aloud, I'm putting flowers in the vase. The phrase felt gentle and beautiful. I repeated it, smiling, put flowers in the vase. Then I decided to clean the picture frames on the wall. They were full of memories, family, friends, and old trips. I said softly, I'm wiping the picture frames. As I removed the dust, I remembered the laughter behind each photo. Cleaning them felt like saying thank you to those moments. I also cleaned the small shelf near the window. It had candles, books, and souvenirs from my travels. I said aloud, I'm arranging the decorations. The word arrange is so elegant. It means to put things in a pleasing order. I thought, arranging decorations is like arranging thoughts. It creates balance. Next, I added a soft blanket on the sofa and placed a few colorful cushions. I said, I'm making the room cozy. The word cozy means warm, comfortable, and peaceful. It's one of my favorite English words. I repeated it a few times. A cozy room, a cozy chair, a cozy feeling. It sounded like kindness in a word. While decorating, I realized something. Beauty doesn't come from money. It comes from attention.
Even a candle, a flower, or a soft light can change the whole mood of a home. Just like in English, your words don't need to be fancy, they just need to be true and warm. After arranging everything, I sat down and looked around. The flowers were bright, the air smelled fresh, and the room looked alive. I said proudly, "The living room looks beautiful and cozy." Then I wrote a few new English phrases in my notebook. Put flowers in the vase. Wipe the picture frames. Arrange the decorations. Make the room cozy. Add a touch of beauty. I also learned the phrase "a touch of." It means a small amount of something. I said a touch of color, a touch of light, a touch of peace. These small touches make life brighter. As I sat quietly, the room felt like it was smiling back at me. I realized that cleaning gives you peace, but decorating gives you joy. Together, they make your home a reflection of who you are. I lit a small candle and watched its gentle flame. The soft light danced on the walls, and I whispered, "Home isn't made by walls, it's made by care." Before leaving the room, I looked one more time and said, "This is my peaceful corner of the world." That evening, as the sun slowly went down, I decided to clean something that most people forget: the refrigerator. It might not sound exciting, but a clean fridge means fresh food and a healthier life. I opened the door and the cold air touched my face. I smiled and said, "Okay, my chilly friend, let's make you fresh again." Inside, I found a few leftovers, some vegetables, a jar of jam, and a few items that had been there for too long. I laughed and said, "Time to check the expiration dates." The word expiration means the time when food is no longer safe to eat. It's a very useful word in daily English. I repeated it slowly. Check the expiration date. Throw away old food. I started by taking everything out. I said aloud, "I'm removing the food. I'm emptying the fridge." The phrase "empty the fridge" means to take out all the items so you can clean it properly. Then I began wiping each shelf. I said softly, "I'm wiping the shelves. I'm cleaning the drawers." As I worked, I thought about how similar this is to our minds. Sometimes we keep old thoughts or worries inside, just like expired food. We need to remove them and make space for new, fresh ideas. Cleaning my fridge felt like cleaning my thinking. When I finished cleaning the shelves, I began organizing everything again. I placed the vegetables together, fruits in one corner, and drinks in the door section. I said, "I'm arranging the items neatly." The word neatly means carefully and cleanly, and it's a great word to describe both homes and habits. I also practiced a few useful English phrases while working. Wipe down the shelves. Throw away old food. Check the expiration date. Keep it fresh. Organize by type. Each sentence felt real and easy to remember because I was doing it while speaking. That's the best way to learn. Use English while living it. After organizing everything, I placed a small box of baking soda inside to keep it smelling fresh. I said, "The fridge smells clean and new." Then I stood back and admired it. The shelves were shiny, the fruits looked bright, and everything was in its place. I realized that a clean fridge doesn't just protect food, it gives peace of mind. You open it and feel proud, just like when you pronounce a difficult English word correctly after many tries. Both feel like success in small moments. I took a cold bottle of water and sat by the window. The evening breeze entered, and I felt happy. I thought about how every small cleaning task was teaching me life lessons, patience, gratitude, and mindfulness. Before closing my notebook for the day, I wrote, "A clean fridge keeps food fresh. A clean mind keeps life fresh." I practiced the word fresh a few times. Fresh air, fresh food, fresh start. It's a powerful word, full of hope and light.
Then I stood up, smiled at my spotless kitchen, and whispered, "It's amazing how cleaning small things can clean your soul, too."
The next morning, I decided to clean something that holds a lot of hidden stories, my drawers. They were small, but full of memories, old papers, coins, pens, letters, and random things I didn't even remember owning. I opened the first drawer, looked inside, and laughed. "Oh no," I said softly, "this is a little treasure box of my past." Drawers are funny. They hide what we don't want to see, but also keep what we don't want to lose. I said aloud, "I'm cleaning the drawer. I'm taking everything out." The phrase, "take out," is so common yet powerful. I repeated it slowly. Take out the papers. Take out the coins. Take out the memories. As I emptied the drawer, I found an old key, some faded photos, and a note that said, "Be patient. Life will surprise you." That small note made me pause. I smiled and whispered, "It already has." Cleaning isn't only about removing dust. It's about rediscovering little moments you once forgot. Then I started sorting everything. I said softly, "I'm sorting the items." The word sort means to separate or organize things by type. I made small piles, one for things to keep, one for things to throw away, and one for things to give. As I worked, I practiced a few useful English sentences. I'm throwing away the old papers. I'm keeping the important notes. I'm giving away what I don't need. It felt like organizing not only my space, but also my mind. Every time I decided what to keep, I learned something about what truly mattered to me. After sorting, I wiped the inside of the drawer and said, "I'm wiping the surface clean." The wood looked new again. I learned another nice phrase that day, as good as new. It means something looks fresh again after cleaning or repairing. I repeated it a few times. The drawer looks as good as new. While putting things back neatly, I said aloud, "I'm putting everything in order." That phrase made me feel proud. When you put your space in order, your thoughts also fall into place. I realized how important it is to take care of small areas like drawers because they teach responsibility, attention, and gratitude. I also practiced a few expressions that learners could use in daily life. Clean out the drawer. Organize your things. Put everything in order. Throw away what you don't use. Simple, natural, and useful. These are the kinds of phrases that turn everyday life into English learning moments. After finishing, I touched the top of the drawer and whispered, "Thank you for keeping my little secret safe." I smiled, because I realized that every item I had found told a story of who I used to be, and now I was creating space for who I was becoming. Before closing my notebook, I wrote a small reminder to myself. When you clean your drawers, you make space for dreams. I loved that line. It made me feel light and hopeful. Cleaning something small can create big changes if you do it with heart. Then I looked around my tidy room and said, every small action adds up to peace. And that's true for English, for cleaning, and for life. That afternoon, the rain began to fall softly outside. The sound of water touching the window made everything feel peaceful. I made myself a cup of tea and looked around my home. It was clean, bright, and full of calm energy. Then my eyes stopped at one last place that needed attention. The storage corner. Boxes, bags, and old things were piled up quietly, waiting for care. I smiled and said, "All right, my forgotten corner, it's your time to breathe." Storage spaces are like memories. They hold things we once needed but no longer use. I said aloud, "I'm organizing the storage area." The word storage means a place where we keep things for later. It's a practical word and one that English learners can use often. I opened the first box and said, "I'm taking everything out." Inside were old notebooks, broken headphones, and a few souvenirs from my travels. I touched each item carefully. Some brought back smiles,
Others reminded me of lessons learned. I said softly, "It's time to let go of the old and make space for the new." As I worked, I used real English expressions while cleaning. Clean out the storage. Sort through the boxes. Throw away what's broken. Keep what's useful. Make space for new things. These were not just words, they were lessons in living. When we make space, we don't only talk about our homes, we also talk about our hearts. We let new energy enter by releasing the weight of the past. I started sorting one box after another, and while doing so, I repeated, "I'm sorting through the things, I'm deciding what to keep." The phrase "sort through" means to check things carefully and decide what stays and what goes. It's a perfect everyday English phrase for both cleaning and organizing thoughts. In one box, I found a small photo album. I opened it slowly. It had pictures of family picnics, school friends, and happy moments that time had quietly hidden. My eyes softened. I wiped the dust off the cover and whispered, "Some memories are too precious to throw away." I placed the album on my shelf, giving it a new home. Next, I found some items I no longer needed: old cables, torn papers, empty boxes. I said, "I'm throwing these away." Saying it out loud made me feel lighter. It was like saying goodbye to old worries. I realized that even cleaning a storage corner can heal your heart. After an hour, the space looked completely different: open, tidy, and peaceful. I said proudly, "The storage area is clean and organized." Then I opened my notebook and wrote down new words: storage, sort through, throw away, make space, keep what's useful. I practiced saying them slowly, imagining I was teaching someone else. It felt natural and real. Then I leaned against the wall and took a deep breath. The smell of rain mixed with the freshness of the cleaned room. It was a small but beautiful moment. I realized that cleaning isn't just about the house, it's a quiet kind of meditation. It teaches patience, gratitude, and clarity. Before leaving the room, I looked around and whispered, "Every corner of this home now tells a story of care." The rain outside had stopped, and sunlight began to peek through the clouds. I smiled and thought, after every cleaning, there is light, just like after every rain.
The next morning, the sky was clear, and the air smelled like a new beginning. I made my bed, opened the windows, and looked around my beautiful, clean home. Every room told a story of care and peace. But there was one last thing to do, something small but powerful: adding fragrance. I smiled and whispered, "Let's make this home smell like happiness." Smell is memory. A good scent can change how you feel, just like kind words can change your mood. I started by lighting a candle and said aloud, "I'm lighting a scented candle." The phrase scented candle means a candle that gives off a pleasant smell when it burns. I repeated it slowly. Light a scented candle. Enjoy the soft aroma. As the candle's gentle light filled the room, I began spraying air freshener near the curtains. I said, "I'm spraying air freshener. I'm refreshing the room." The word refresh is one of my favorites. It means to make something feel new again. I repeated softly, refresh your mind, refresh your space, refresh your life. Then I walked to the living room and placed a small bowl of lemon peels mixed with water on the table. My grandmother had taught me this trick years ago. It made the air smell natural and bright. I said, "I'm adding a natural fragrance." That phrase felt simple but meaningful. While moving around, I realized that cleaning connects all 5 senses: sight, touch, hearing, smell, and even emotion. When you see a clean space, you feel proud. When you smell freshness, you feel calm. When you hear silence, you feel peace. I whispered, clean homes teach you how to listen to life. I practiced some useful English expressions as I continued. Light a candle. Spray air freshener. Make the room smell nice. Keep the air fresh. Enjoy the fragrance. Each sentence was short and natural, perfect for learners to use in daily life. As I said them, I felt like I was breathing in positivity. Then I opened the windows wider and said, I'm letting fresh air in. That phrase felt alive. Air is invisible, but when it's fresh, you can feel its kindness. I thought about how words are the same. You can't see them, but when they're clean and kind, they make everything better. After a few minutes, my home smelled like flowers, lemons, and peace. I walked from room to room, slowly breathing it all in. I said proudly, the house smells fresh and inviting. The word inviting means warm and welcoming. It describes a place that makes people feel comfortable. I sat down with a notebook and wrote a new list of words and phrases from the day. Scented candle, air freshener, fragrance, refresh, inviting, and a few sentences to remember. Let fresh air in. Add a touch of fragrance. The house smells inviting. I repeated them slowly like poetry. Each word carried warmth, just like the candlelight dancing near me. Then I thought about something beautiful. Just like a good scent can change how your home feels, kind words can change how people feel. A clean, fresh space speaks without words. It says, you are safe. You are cared for. You are home. I smiled, looked around my peaceful home and whispered, every clean corner, every soft smell, every simple act, it's all love. That evening, as the sun disappeared behind the hills, my home glowed softly in the golden light. Every corner was calm, clean, and filled with warmth. The air smelled of fresh flowers and peace. I stood in the center of the room, looked around, and smiled. This, I whispered, is what care looks like. I sat down on the sofa, holding my notebook full of words and phrases I had learned from this journey. Tidy up, spotless, wipe the shelf, make it cozy, refresh the room. Each word carried a memory, a moment, and a small victory. I realized that cleaning had not only changed my home, it had changed me. As I looked around, I thought about how this journey started with a simple decision to clean. I had no idea it would teach me patience, mindfulness, and the beauty of small progress. I said softly, a clean home creates a calm mind. That sentence felt true in every way. I walked to the kitchen and made a cup of tea. The sound of boiling water, the scent of mint, the steam rising, it all felt like poetry. I said aloud, I'm making tea. I'm enjoying the peace I created. These were not just sentences. They were proof that learning English through daily life made every action more meaningful. While sipping my tea, I practiced one last list of phrases that had become a part of me. Clean your space, clear your mind. Make your home shine. Do small things with care. Turn every moment into learning. Live neatly, think clearly. Then I thought about something I had learned through this whole experience. Cleaning is not about perfection. It's about attention. Every time you clean, you say to yourself, I care. Every time you learn a new word, you say, I'm growing. I stood up and walked around my home one last time. The floor shone under my feet, the windows reflected the evening light, and the soft sound of wind came through the open balcony. My heart felt light and full. I whispered, When your home is clean, your heart listens better. When your heart is clean, your dreams speak louder. Those words stayed with me. I knew I would remember them every time I picked up a broom or opened my English notebook. Then I took a deep breath and smiled. My home was no longer just a place to live. It had become my teacher, my mirror, my peace. I whispered, "Thank you, my little world, for every lesson." Before I sat down again, I opened my notebook one last time and wrote, "Cleanness brings peace. Learning brings confidence. Together, they build happiness." I looked around and thought how simple things, washing, wiping, arranging, speaking English aloud, had built something powerful inside me. A new kind of strength, a new kind of calm. I smiled at the candlelight and whispered softly to my listeners, "Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. You are not just cleaning your homes, you're creating peace, one word and one action at a time. Let's keep making our lives brighter, cleaner, and more beautiful together."
Honey, the house is such a mess. I need you to help me tidy up a bit. My boss and her husband are coming over for dinner, and the house needs to be spotless.
I'm in the middle of something right now. I'll be there in a second.
This can't wait. I need your help now.
All right. I'm coming.
Okay, here's a list of chores we need to get done. I'll do the dishes and get all the groceries for tonight. You can sweep and mop the floors. Oh, and the furniture needs to be dusted.
You know what? I have to pick something up at the mall. So why don't you clean the floors and I'll go to the supermarket and get all the groceries?
Sure, that's fine. Here's the list of all the things you need to get. Don't forget anything. And can you pick up a bottle of wine on your way home?
Hey, honey, I'm back. Wow, the house looks really good.
Great. Can you set the table?
Just a sec. I'm just gonna vacuum this rug real fast.
Wait! Don't turn it on!
Okay, great stuff. Love hearing that explosion. That vacuum just is a bomb.
Yeah. In this dialogue, there was some really interesting language that you can use if you don't want to do any chores in the house.
Exactly. So it's time now for Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
You know, Fluency Builder is a part of our show that we use to take a common phrase or a word that you already know and show you how to express that idea more fluently and more naturally.
Exactly. So let's take a look at our first idea that we want to explain.
Let's say you're watching TV like the woman in this dialogue, and your husband wants you to help him do the chores. And you say, "No, I'm busy."
Right. Or I'm doing something.
Those are two great expressions, but we heard something a little bit different in the dialogue.
I'm in the middle of something right now. I'm in the middle of something right now.
Yeah, that phrase is great. It means she's busy. She's doing something.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah.
And so, Marco, you can tell us about our next phrase.
Okay, well, now suppose that you want to say, "You'll be there soon."
You might say, "I'll be there soon," or
"I'm coming."
Exactly.
But in our dialogue, we heard something a little bit different. Let's listen.
I'll be there in a second. I'll be there in a second.
So this is a more natural way of saying, "I'll be there very soon."
Yeah, you know what? I think I use this phrase almost every day. I'll be there in a second.
Yeah. It's really common.
Yeah, it means I'll be there really fast.
Yes.
Okay, so our final item today in Fluency Builder is a great phrase that helps you say the idea, could you or would you?
Right. Or can you?
Yeah, so can you sweep the floor? Could you sweep the floor?
But in the dialogue, we heard something that's a little bit different.
Why don't you clean the floors and I'll go to the supermarket? Why don't you clean the floors and I'll go to the supermarket?
Great, so this is more natural and it's giving a suggestion.
Yeah, it's sort of a polite way of asking someone to clean the floors.
Right. It's a really good and polite way of saying it. Yeah, I would agree on that. This was Fluency Builder. Now we are ready to listen to our dialogue again at its normal speed.
And this time you'll understand a lot better.
Honey, the house is such a mess. I need you to help me tidy up a bit. My boss and her husband are coming over for dinner and the house needs to be spotless.
I'm in the middle of something right now. I'll be there in a second.
This can't wait. I need your help now.
All right. I'm coming.
Okay, here's a list of chores we need to get done. I'll do the dishes and get all the groceries for tonight. You can sweep and mop the floors. Oh, and the furniture needs to be dusted.
You know what? I have to pick something up in the mall. So why don't you clean the floors and I'll go to the supermarket and get all the groceries?
Sure, that's fine. Here's the list of all the things you need to get. Don't forget anything. And can you pick up a bottle of wine on your way home?
Hey, honey, I'm back. Wow, the house looks really good.
Great. Can you set the table?
Just a sec. I'm just gonna vacuum this rug real fast.
Wait, don't turn it on!
Has this ever happened to you? Has your vacuum cleaner exploded in your house?
Well, not a big explosion like this one.
Not so dramatically.
Not so dramatically. But I've had this happen to me before. Yeah. And dust everywhere. And it's a mess. You don't want to have.
You know, this word vacuum is really a very American word.
Yeah, vacuum. Vacuum the rug. Vacuum the carpet.
Yeah, vacuum cleaner. In the UK, what did they say?
Hoover.
Hoover.
Yeah, Hoover.
Hoover the rug.
Hoover the rug. Which is interesting because it's actually a brand.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of like American English. You say, pass me a Kleenex.
Oh, that's true.
That would be like a tissue.
Yeah.
So I guess they say Hoover the rug or Hoover the house. Yeah.
Wow. You know, I really love these small differences in meaning that we have between American English and British English.
Yeah, it's fun. Okay. Well, another interesting thing about this is that the man was doing the housework.
I know.
He's a house husband.
Yeah. So he's the one doing all of the chores in the house.
Yeah, that's the new trend now. Now it's more popular for men to stay home and take care of the babies and clean the house.
Yeah, like when I was growing up, my dad would take out the garbage and that was it. My mom had to do everything else. But now I think it's becoming a lot more common, especially in North America, for the household chores to be divided between the man and the wife equally.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Me too. Yeah. You'd make a good husband, Marco.
That's what they say, but they haven't married me yet.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're out of time, folks. Be sure to log on to our community website and you can leave all your comments. And maybe other house husbands out there can give us their feedback on what they think about this.
Yeah, so check us out at englishpod.com. And thanks for listening today, everyone. Until next time, this is Marco and Erica saying
bye.
Goodbye.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Very dirty, disordered.
Such a mess.
Put things in place. Organize.
Tidy up.
Perfectly clean.
Spotless.
Busy doing something at the moment.
In the middle of something.
Common house tasks.
Chores.
Food that you buy at a store.
Groceries.
Careful, thorough house cleaning, usually done in the spring. Perfectly clean, having no dirt at all.
Immaculate.
Wash the dirty clothes.
Do the laundry.
Soap used to wash plates, knives, forks, bowls, etc.
Dish detergent.
Garbage, American English.
Trash.
Garbage, British English.
Rubbish. Let's try that faster.
Perfectly clean.
Spotless.
Careful, thorough house cleaning, usually done in the spring. Put things in place. Organize.
Tidy up.
Garbage, British English.
Rubbish.
Common house tasks.
Chores.
Soap used to wash plates, knives, forks, bowls, etc.
Dish detergent.
Perfectly clean, having no dirt at all.
Immaculate.
Garbage, American English.
Trash.
Wash the dirty clothes.
Do the laundry.
Very dirty, disordered.
Such a mess.
Food that you buy at a store.
Groceries.
Busy doing something at the moment.
In the middle of something. Now say the word and hear it in a sentence. Such a mess. Your room is such a mess. You need to clean it. Such a mess. The garage is such a mess. I can't find anything in here. Such a mess. When you cook, you always make such a mess. Tidy up. I want to tidy up my closet today because my clothes are all over the floor. Tidy up. Since I cooked dinner tonight, you can tidy up the kitchen. Tidy up. If you want to go outside and play, you need to tidy up your room. Tidy up. Every morning, I tidy up my room before leaving for work. Spotless. I spent all morning cleaning my car, so now it's spotless. Spotless. You did a great job cleaning the kitchen. It's spotless. Spotless. We need to make sure that the house is spotless before the guests arrive. In the middle of something. I'm in the middle of something right now, so I'll call you back in 10 minutes. In the middle of something. I can't go to lunch now. I'm in the middle of something really important. In the middle of something. I hate it when people interrupt me when I'm in the middle of something. Chores. When I was younger, I used to help my mother with the daily chores. Chores. I wish I could go with you guys, but I have to finish my chores. Chores. I hate doing chores, especially washing the dishes. Groceries. We need to go buy some groceries for this week. Groceries. I forgot the grocery list at home, but don't worry. I remember everything that was on it. Groceries. Don't forget to buy some milk from the grocery store on your way home.